real architecture it has to be art as well. Because we are living here at Taliesin West. It's like living in a work of art, you know. Because Mr. Wright's architecture was art too. Because all the things, all the elements that went into art went into his work. It was all part of the whole, you know.
Well, Mr. Wright felt that all life was involved in architecture. He didn't think architecture was just a matter of building buildings. He thought that architecture was the way you lived every minute of your life, how you arranged the furniture in your room, how you made flower decorations, or however you happened to treat the place, and how much you enjoyed nature, how much you got out of walking out in the fields and studying the flowers and the trees and trying to sense the essence of all those things.
It starts from a central core, like a seed, like an oak tree. All of that, of what that oak tree is going to be, is in that seed, and it grows from that center of that seed. It grows up and out. But you have to have that core idea of what the concept is to be. And of course, as my grandfather used to love to say, the reality of architecture is not the building itself, but it's the space of the building.
Architecture, which its reality is the space within, and that it has been built in harmony with all of its elements.
Occasionally, you see something so beautiful, or you just accept the beautiful day and you think, oh, what a gorgeous day, and you feel, you know, I'm so lucky to be here.
I think the beautiful surroundings that are appropriate for the place where they're at make a big difference in how people learn and how they absorb what's around them. And I think another thing too about Taliesin, that especially the desert that's so wonderful, is that it was built by the apprentices. I mean, their own sweat and blood and tears, they helped create this. So it wasn't done by my grandfather alone. And the spirit of those people is in the structures themselves, and I think that comes through when you walk through it. You're not only sensing the spirit of my grandfather and grandmother, you're also feeling the spirit of all those apprentices who worked here and were a part of it.
Everyone that comes here feels that. You know, there's something here intangible that you can't really put your hands on. It's there.
Oh, this is a great place. And there are always new surprises. You wander around and you realize there's something I don't know that I ever noticed before. You know it's been there, but because it's so rich.
The place itself, Taliesin, was such a unique experience. I've never seen anything like it. Just really never experienced any space like this. And it grows over time. You know, you walk through spaces and you don't really see them for quite a while until you really stop and get conscious observation of what really is happening, and you discover the richness. I guess the living room in the house is one of those absolutely magic places from that perspective. And it always is a new experience. It really is, because it's such intimacy, such peacefulness. And I think that is in part because there is an underlying order to the buildings, to the design of it, a unit system, a structure. Everything is related without blatantly pointing to it. But then when you examine it, there is order to it.
and there's a reason why this is so and this is so. And I think ultimately that's what makes people feel so at ease, so in harmony with the space. You fill it with life and music and poetry, whatever. Laughter, tears, it's all part of the human experience.
How can you live in these places and not get the feel for it? And you learn to see some of these things through the eyes of Frank Lloyd Wright. And he was a very perceptive, innovative kind of guy. The way you look at things changes. Now that's one of the real values of studying here.
I was sweeping the walks down by the drafting room. And Mr. Wright, I didn't even hear him coming. I was there sweeping away. And suddenly I heard this voice saying, here, let me have that. Let me have that broom.
One time I was out there sweeping something, I don't remember what. And I saw him coming, and I saw him watching me. And he came over and he said, you know, he said, you're not sweeping right. This is not the way to do it, you know. And it was very interesting because he showed me how I should sweep.
And he took the broom and then he walked ahead of me and he started sweeping. He said, here's how you sweep. And he was doing it very vigorously, you know. And he said, no, it's not just a la-di-da-di sweep. When you're doing this, really sweep, work.
And so even there I learned a lesson. And even now when I'm sweeping, you know, I think about what he said.
Something like that. You wouldn't think, why would somebody like Frank Lloyd Wright bother to do something like he wanted you to do it right. And he showed you.
And Mr. Wright himself said, you know, a change of work is as good as a rest. And well, he himself, you know, if he was working in the studio and, you know, he'd get a little stale at that, he'd just go out and do anything, sweep the walk or something, you know, just to get refreshed, you know.
Mr. Wright so many times would say to us, don't go through life like this, boys, go through life like this. Be ready to absorb. And he said, we don't teach you here, but we leave the doors and windows open.
Now, Mr. Wright's idea, of course, he never called this a school. And he never called anybody a student.
Imagine waking up in the morning to the sound of birds chirping in a virgin desert landscape as far as the eye can see around you. This is everyday life for an apprentice at the Frank Lloyd Wright School of Architecture.
The value of the Desert Shelter project of the students here at the school is the chance for them, which is only given in our school and not given to any other school on this planet, a chance to design something and build it and live in it. There's no other school that allows you that opportunity. So you put together all of the things you need to know about an architect in a very sort of focused way. It's not a large building, of course, but you learn about the nature of materials, which Mr. Wright was very specific about. The nature of the material. What is the nature of concrete? What is the nature of stone? What is the nature of steel? What is the nature of glass? And you learn how to put these materials together. And so you actually work with concrete and you work with welding and all the pieces and parts that you need to do to build a building in a small way. So you get very early in your life a taste really of construction and the problems that you find in construction.